Ants are quite possibly the main reason our services are needed at most homes. Ants cause the greatest amount of callback services among all insects that we treat. These insects can invade a home overnight and create a lot of anxiety for our customers. It is important to note a few things about ant identification and activity. For the most part, we will encounter and treat for basically three types of ants in our areas: carpenter ants, odorous house ants, and acrobat ants. Each of these are very easy to identify. Their activity will be dramatically different for each species. There are several approaches to ant control using various types of insecticides. These are bait gels, bait granules, dusts, foams, and sprays. It is important for us to set custom expectations regarding the treatment of ants. The process is not an overnight treatment. The customer needs to understand that the entire process will reduce ants over time. Each day, the customer should see fewer ants than the day before. They can be assured the process is working when they take notice of these slow changes. First, we'll discuss carpenter ants. These are ants that live in damp or decaying wood. They are not like termites in that they do not consume wood, but they do excavate cavities or galleries in wood for harborage. Carpenter ants are a leading cause of wood damage in a structure. Carpenter ants will almost always be found in damp wood. Their galleries will be carved smooth and left very clean. Any debris or dead ants are always pushed out of the galleries. Identification can first start with that observation. Look for frass or wood debris near the suspected wood damage. Note if there are any insect parts, such as heads or body parts. This may be the only indication you have to the presence of carpenter ants. If you find these ants outside of their colony, they will be differing sizes. This is common of carpenter ants as they will produce ants of varying sizes as needed by the colony. The term used for this is polymorphic. It simply means many forms. The shape of the ant is critical to its identification. Worker ants do not have wings, so they are the easiest to identify. The head is generally large, with large, powerful mandibles. The thorax, or middle section of the ant, is evenly rounded and smooth. The abdomen, or tail of the ant, has no stinger. Closer observation will reveal a single node between the thorax and abdomen. However, that is often hard to identify without a magnifying lens. Color of these ants can range from solid black to reddish brown. If you find these ants at a structure but can't identify the location, you'll need to follow their trail. This can sometimes be a great distance to a wood source away from the structure. This could be a decaying wood pile or a nearby tree. Carpenter ants are best treated using granular baits. Those that Frontline provide include Advanced 375A, Nivan, and Entice. Sprinkle these along trails of ants or in active areas where ants are observed. Additionally, you may use a foam product such as premise foam or fuse foam to treat the galleries. Control may take some time before it will be achieved. The second ant we will discuss is the acrobat ant. This ant is less likely to be seen in the structure of a house, but is not too uncommon. These ants excavate wood much like carpenter ants and will often leave piles of wood frass near their exit points from the structure. It is likely to find them around windows, doors, and sometimes baseboards. These are often areas that may have a slight structural deficiency and be leaking small amounts of water inside of the wall. These ants are also very easy to identify. These are small ants about 1/8 to 3/16 inches in length. They're all the same size and are considered monomorphic, or one size. The best way to tell if the species you are looking at is an acrobat ant is to look at the shape of the abdomen, or back section of the ant. Acrobat ant's abdomen is shaped like a heart. It is very distinguishable from all other ants. They also carry the abdomen high above the rest of the body. This is why they get their name as acrobat ants. Acrobat ants are often very easy to control. Other control methods include dusting along baseboards or any crack or crevice that you suspect the ants to be harboring. Baits are not as effective as the above described treatments, as these ants typically trail between the exterior of the structure and the nesting areas of the walls. Some bait granules, such as Advanced 375A or Nivan, can be used outdoors if trails can be located. Lastly, we will discuss the most common ant we encounter, the odorous house ant. These are the most numerous and annoying ants of all we generally deal with. Odorous house ants are perfectly at home harboring in the house. where they can't be easily detected. These areas are most commonly found in the kitchen, but could be anywhere in the house where food, water, and harborage can be found, so don't rule anything out. Their existence in any area could be as simple as the residue from a spilled drink like tea or soda. To identify the odorous house ant, you will need to locate a couple ants and pick them up between your fingers. Crush them and then smell what odor they give off. Odorous house ants smell like rotten coconut when crushed. These ants are small, usually about 1/8 of an inch long, and all the same size or monomorphic. Color is dark brown or black, and they can be complicated. The first concern is to determine why they have invaded a structure. To do this, you must first follow their trail to the source at either end. One end will be what they are attracted to, and the other may be their nest or exit point from the house. Once that can be identified, then we can reduce their attractant by discarding any products or foods they have infested. Upon completion of that, then the pheromone trail can be cleaned using ammonia or a cleaner with ammonia, such as window cleaner. Treatment will be to place a sufficient amount of ant gel bait along the trailing area so that the ants will be attracted to that and cannot find the original food source. Never place this bait gel on the counter or visible area. Bait placements should be made in cracks, crevices, voids, or locations hidden from little hands and pets. Be sure to use enough bait gel to get the job done. Most often we fail because we do not apply enough bait. If ants are determined to be harboring in a void, then a quick application of dust will get the job done quickly. Trailing ants outside can be treated with residual sprays or bait granules as Advanced 375A or Niban. These ants are persistent and your success is greatly dependent on a thorough inspection, removal of the source, and treatment process. Again, ants are going to be the most common pest issue you will encounter, and so the better you are with them, the better off our customers will be. Remember to set proper expectations. There's not a one-size-fits-all treatment for each situation, but the basic principles you learned in this video will really give you a head start on addressing ant issues out in the field.